What's up, you lovely people? So glad to see you back here and ready for another video. Today, we're tackling all things Davinci Resolve 17. I'll be talking about some of the really cool editing features they have and color grading features as well. Keep in mind, this software is still in beta. As of recording this video today, I'm working with beta 5 of Davinci Resolve 17, so there's always going to be new bug fixes and features that are coming in. But so far, it's a great software and I've loved all of the new features that they've brought in. I think there's some really cool stuff for you guys, so let's get into it. Right before we jump in though, I am going to be talking about some features that are in the free version and then also some features that are exclusive to the studio or the paid version. I'll be sure to let you guys know when I'm talking about which one, so that way you know if you're getting it in the free one or if you're going to have to pay money for it. Before we get into it though, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and enable the bell so that you don't miss any new videos that I upload to this channel. There's going to be a lot of Davinci Resolve 17 tutorials coming up and some other fun videos that I have planned for the channel as well. Alright, so without any further delay, let's get into Davinci Resolve 17. Alright, so first up we have audio sync in the timeline. This feature has been widely requested by a lot of Resolve users, and it's something that you can easily do in Premiere Pro, which I also use to edit my videos as well. Alright, so let's say you bring in your video and your audio clips that you want to sync together. What you would do is you would put them in your timeline, drag them down, and then it's as easy as selecting them, right-clicking, and selecting the audio sync option. Now there's two options you can select between timecode if you have it, or you can use waveform, which just uses the waveform of the audio to sync to the video. For this example, we'll just use waveform, so as you select it, you can see that the video clips just line up with the audio. It's perfect. Alright, next feature is the updated inspector. I love this feature and I think the update to it makes it really easy to use. It's more of a quality of life feature, but it's so useful. Now the inspector has been redesigned where it has multiple tabs that you can click through for settings, and also it's included across the various pages of Davinci Resolve 17, including the media page, so you can make quick edits to your clips when you import them in to your project. One of the things that I love the best, like I said, is the new look with all the options across the top for the categories. Now you can easily go in and adjust separate settings like your clip settings, audio settings, even effects on different tabs. So it's a lot easier to find what you're looking for in the inspector. So next up we have effects preview in your timeline, which once again is another quality of life thing, but it's so useful to have, especially when you're editing. So now, for example, if you have clips in your timeline that you want to add an effect to, you can just hover scroll over the effect in the effects page on your timeline and see it added to your video with preview as you're working on your clips. This is really useful and it can save you a lot of time instead of guessing what the effect might do or dragging it on, seeing it, and then having to delete it or change something if you don't like it. Now you can see the effects scrubbing out on your timeline as you hover over it. No more needing to add effects and deleting them afterward or going to another page where you can see it. Another cool part of this is that you also have the ability to see the same effect where you can scrub over it with the titles that are built into Davinci Resolve 17. So now you can see a preview of the title before you add it to make sure that it works with the clip that you have selected. Alright, so moving right along, the next feature is Smart Reframe. I love this feature and I think it's a great feature to use. I don't have the studio version of Resolve, so I can't show it to you there, but it's basically the auto reframe feature from Premiere Pro. I have done a video on that, so if you want to see how it works and see if it's worth getting for that feature for you, I'll link it up in the card so you can see how it works. Essentially though, this is a really powerful tool for creating videos, for social media, for example, where you have a certain aspect ratio and it changes from platform to platform. This way you can take a video that you have edited out completely, and let's say for example you want to change the aspect ratio to 9:16, which fits on Instagram stories. Instead of having to manually keyframe all of those changes to the position and the scale, you can just let the neural engine do that for you and adjust the video within the parameters that you give it. Alright, so with that, let's move to some of the color features, which I think are some of the best features included with Resolve 17. First up, we have HDR Color Tools. Now, this feature is not to be confused with HDR Video or Rec 2020 Color Space. which is also referred to as HDR image. Now, that's beyond the scope of this video, so if you don't know or understand what that means, that's okay. It's totally beyond the scope of that. But just keep in mind that these HDR color tools are useful and can be used with any kind of video. I use them personally on my own video that I shoot, and that's just HD 1080p MP4 footage. So it works great though. It's very helpful in separating stuff out, and you'll see it in just a minute when we get into it. What we have here essentially is a zone system. You can change it so that it shows 3 at a time plus a global wheel, or you can move the global wheel to the end. The best part of this feature is the granular control that you have over every area of the image, from blacks, darks, and shadows to the midtones, highlights, and specular highlights across the image. Another really next level feature is that you also have exposure and saturation controls across all the zones, which is just insane, and the ability to define your own zones depending on the footage that you're working with and the fall off to best fit your image. Clicking this button right here will open up a graph showing all the ranges, and the red part shows the fall off, almost like a blending tool, and a range option that lets you have an even finer control over the image. You can also press Shift H in Resolve to see what part of the image is being affected. With each zone, you get an accurate view of how your changes are affecting your video. Lastly, we have the Color Warper tool, which is this little icon right here that looks like a little hexagon. If you click on it, this will show you a visual representation of your image on the Color Warper interface. The image is broken down by color and saturation. The further out you're going along your wheel, the more saturated your colors are going to be. The cool thing about this is that you can move your cursor around on the screen, and the Color Warper will show you what colors you're affecting and which control point on the Color Warper best impacts that area. You can also pop this tool out and resize it to get a more accurate view of what's happening, which is really cool. It doesn't just stop there either. You can also increase the amount of control points that you have for even more control of your video. By default, this Color Warper shows you hue and saturation, but there's also another way that you can use it, which is chroma and luminance, and it has the same amount of control as the hue and saturation one. Same thing, you can adjust how many points of control you have as well, depending on how detailed of a video you're working with. Well guys, that's it. Those are just some of my first impressions and my favorite features that they've added to Davinci Resolve 17, which doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of what you can do with this update. I'm telling you, as far as a free software is concerned, Blackmagic has got it down and definitely beat the competition in every way. There are so many more new updates as well, like 9 scopes on the color page that you can customize which ones you want to look at. Things like the new color space management workflow tools that you can use, which drastically simplifies everything. The new magic mask feature, which makes it insanely easy to key out certain things in your video, along with presets for persons or objects or faces, and a bunch of other new features that they've added to the edit and cut pages, which make it so much easier for you to make it through your video and edit the way that you want to. I definitely think that this is one of their biggest and best updates. They've listened to some of the customer complaints and requests that they've had for features, and they've included this in the update and fixed some things. I definitely think that if you've never had a chance to get into Davinci Resolve, now is as good a time as any to pick it up and try it out. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here and watching my videos. Make sure that you're subscribed, share this video with someone that you think could use it, hit the like button, comment down below with what your experience has been, or if there's anything else that you'd like to learn or see me cover in my videos. And until the next time I see you guys, get out there and create something. La de vedere.